Hello everyone, welcome to episode 12 of my animation tutorial. I'm going to eventually stop saying the episode numbers because I always got to check before every episode just to make sure I'm on the right one. But yeah, episode 12. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do two things today. One's pretty simple and the other one is actually going to be how to create an aura for your character. But the first thing I'm going to show you is going to be really quick. I'm going to show you how to make your character's body parts stretch out. So actually you have to be in the timeline to do this. So you can't do this on frame 0 or it's gonna look a little bit weird. But let's just go to frame 6. It can be anywhere except for frame 0. Let's zoom in. You're gonna want to be on your character bone layer. So Steve right there. Come over here to the transform bone tool. Have that selected. And if you hover over a bone, you should see these circles. I may have already actually done this tutorial, I'm not sure. But basically, I actually think I did do this tutorial. But I'm doing it again because I did get another question about it. Basically, with the transform bone tool selected, hover over a bone, you should see two dots. And you're gonna select the dot that's on the bottom point. Well, I don't really know how to explain it, but the bottom dot in this case for this bone, but like for the body bone, it would be this top dot here. I don't really know how to explain that better, but you're gonna want to click on that, drag it to the left, well, drag it to the right to make it stretch, drag it to the left to make it compress. And you can do that pretty much for every body part. But again, you have to be in the timeline to do it, or else it's gonna look a little bit weird. Like, let me actually show you. If you do it on frame 0, it actually just stretches the bone rather than stretching the body part with it. So you want to do that when you're in the timeline. And yeah, that's a pretty simple one. Again, if you want to delete the animation from the layer, make everything go back to normal, have that layer selected, whatever layer you edited. Come over here to animation. Yeah, animation, over here at the top, clear animation from layer. And it should put everything back to place. And it actually didn't, because I did this on frame 0. That's what the undo button is for. Control Z to undo. I think that's good. And those are back, so we're actually going to clear the animation again. Come over here, animation, clear animation. And that should be back to normal. Now, the second thing I was going to teach you guys is how to do auras for your character. I'm going to do the fight scene tutorial next. Well, maybe next. It should be soon. If not next, it's the episode after next, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be next episode. But yeah, to do an aura for your character, kind of like how I did in my Amon animations. Maybe I'll put like a little overlay to show you what I mean by auras. But basically, what you are going to want to do, I think we'll do it in this folder, why not? You're going to want to create a new vector layer. Make sure it's not in your character bone layer. Well, it can be, but you'll have to move it. But yeah, create a new vector layer on top of your character layer, or in anywhere else. It doesn't really matter where it is because we're going to move it anyways. And basically, to create an aura, you're actually going to want to outline whatever body part you want the aura for. It's a little bit tedious, but actually, let me show you guys a little bit about creating shapes and stuff in the first place. So when you're on your vector layer, you're going to want to come over here to the draw shape tool. And if you come up here to the top, you can see you have rectangle, oval, triangle, star. We're just going to select the oval one for right now, but you can select any one of those you want. Come over here and click and drag to draw a circle. If you want it to be a perfect circle, hold shift while you're dragging. And if you want to create the circle from the middle point of where you clicked, hold Alt while you're while you're holding Shift as well. So yeah, Alt, Control, and no, it's just Shift and Alt that are modifiers. So we're just gonna hold Shift, create a circle to make it a perfect one. And I'm gonna teach you a little bit about the effects we're gonna be using. So basically, how I did my aura was come over here. Well, when you're on this vector layer that we created, come over here to the select shape tool, select that shape. It should be checkered now, or it would be outlined in red like this. If it's outlined in red, you can either keep it like that, or you can come over here to the right and click on checker selection. That's the one I like better, but it's really up to you. Make sure that shape is selected, and we're gonna come over here to fill and uncheck fill. And now come over here, make sure that shape is selected again. We're actually gonna come over here to the advanced button right here, make sure that's checked, and you should get a little drop down menu. Make sure this is selected again. And to make an aura, I want this outline to be kind of faded. So I'm gonna come over here to style. Actually, yeah, we're gonna come over here to style, the one under the stroke, not the one under the effects. I mean, not the one under the fill. The fill is the inside color, so that's the white, but we turn that off, so now we only see the stroke. So we're gonna come over here to the style right under the stroke. Wait, no, not style. We're gonna come to effect. We're gonna come to the effect under the stroke. Click on that, the little drop down menu, and we're gonna come over here to soft edge. Now, if we click OK, you can actually tune these if you scroll up, scroll down, or just select a number. I'm gonna keep it like around 11 something. Well, we'll actually just put it on 11 and click OK. Now, if you see, it doesn't really change now, but if you press Control R and render it, you can see that circle is a little bit faded. Or if Control R doesn't work, come over here to File, Preview, and you should see the render right there. Now, if we don't have that effect on, so if we select the shape again, come over here to Soft Edge, and click on Plane, and we hit Control R, it's just a regular circle. But I want that fade look, so it looks like a little aura on the character. So we're gonna come over here to Soft Edge, and hit Control R again, and you should see it's a soft edge. Now I'm gonna show you if you actually change the numbers how it looks. Oh, and if you want to go back to the editing stage, make sure this is selected, and come over here right on the right side of your effect that you selected. You should see these three dots. Click on that, and you're back in the effect settings. So I'm gonna scroll this up to make this fade not as harsh. Put it like on 2, put it on 3. Click OK and render, and you can see it's not as much of a fade anymore. It's really up to you how you want it to look. But yeah, that's basically what I do to do auras. And we're actually gonna delete this right now. So now create a new one, a new vector layer. And now we're actually gonna outline our body parts. I'm not gonna do all of them. I don't think. Nah, I'm not gonna do all of them. But it's basically the same if you were to do all of them. I didn't even show you guys how to edit the points. I'm gonna show you while we're doing the outline. But basically, come over here on the vector layer, select oval or whatever shape you want. Create a little circle. If you have a hard time seeing it, you can hide this vector layer and you can still see these points, these red dots. I'm not going to do that right now, but you do see the red dots. So once you have your shape created, come over here on the left side to transform points. And basically, you're going to want to click on one of those points, one of these little circles here, Click and drag and you can move it around a bit. So we're going to move it to sort of outline his arm here. If you're having a hard time seeing it, again, you can hide that layer right here, or you can hide the other body parts. We can actually uncheck this advanced so we can see a little bit more here. You can hide some body parts too if you're having a hard time seeing. So let's hide like the front hand and the front arm. No, the front forearm. And then come back here to the vector layer. Make sure the transform points tool is selected. Outline every part. And if you want it to be a little more precise, you can come over here to the add points tool. There's better tutorials on this. I'm going to go kind of quickly over it. You can add a point, come over here and click on the outline, and you can add points to like fine tune it, you know. Right now I have it on straight, so it's kind of sharp edges. If you don't want it like that, you can come up here to sharp corners, uncheck that, and if you create a shape, it should be more circular, or it has more of a curve. Also, you can come over here to the, what's this called? The curvature tool. Click on any one of those points you made, and you can just edit it like this. It's just, you know, click and drag. Just play around with it a bit. This one's a little bit sharp, so let's click on this one. Yeah, just play around with it a bit, you know. I'm actually going to delete some of these points. So if you want to delete some, come over here to the select points tool, click and drag over any one of those points you created, and just select delete. I'm gonna delete this one too. I'm just gonna do a basic circle actually. So I'm gonna delete those, and I'm gonna come over here to the add points tool. Well, I'm gonna create a basic oval, not a circle. I'm gonna unselect sharp corners. I want it to be curved. And we're just gonna outline the arm. So I think that's pretty good. You can do it more precise if you want, but I'm just doing it pretty quick for the tutorial. So once you have that done, you can show that again and you can see it. So come over here to select shape, click on that, and we're gonna hide the fill. We're gonna do the same thing we just did. So come over here, we're gonna make this advanced. Soft edge, the soft edge is already on. We're gonna put this on what? Let's put it on like 5. Yeah, let's put it on 5. I think 5 is good. And you can change the color of this if you want by come over here to stroke and, you know, selecting on the color wheel. Or you can come over here to this, the color switches over here. Is that what this is called? I think it is. But basically you want to right click, not left click. You want to right click on one of these colors to change the stroke color. But I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make it something that you can see. I'm going to make it like greenish. So I want it to be that color. Now if we select Control R, you can see he has a little aura around him. But if you can see, I'm going to uncheck this advanced again. Let's show those again as well. If you see, if we come over here to our bone layer and we move our arm, it doesn't move with the arm. It's still going to stay there. Now, if you want it to move with the arm, if you've been following my tutorials, you should know how to do that already. Thank God we're on frame 0. I didn't even realize that. You're going to want to drag this layer, this vector layer. You can name it whatever you want. Let's name it F arm aura. Okay, you can drag this. We're gonna drag this down. We're gonna drag it under his front arm actually. You can put this in the front arm folder if you have a folder, and that would make it easier. Because if you drag it in that folder, if you follow my tutorials on how to do that, I think it was episode 6, If you just put it in that folder and you come over here to manipulate bones and you move it, it should already be connected. But I know some of you can't use folders, so what you're going to want to do is drag that right under the front arm picture that you have, or well, not folder, because you probably don't have the folder, but you're going to drag it right under the front arm. Come over here to bind layer, click on that and bind it to that front arm bone, and that is that. Now if you move it around, it moves with the bone, so we can render it, and he has that little aura under him. You can also make that thicker if you want, so come over here to select shape, right over here, right under stroke where it says width, you can increase that number or decrease it. If you want, if you increase it, the line gets thicker, well, the stroke gets thicker. If you decrease it, the stroke gets thinner. So let's make it kind of thick. You can actually move this aura all the way to the bottom of your bone layer. Make sure it's in your bone layer though, because sometimes it's not. Like, see right there, it's not in the bone layer. Make sure you drag it into the bone layer, but not into that forearm. Yeah, so right there, it's in the layer now. So you can do that if you want to drag it under everything. And if we hit Control R, that's actually too thick. Or I think we'll just make it transparent actually. So we're gonna select this to make it transparent. When you have that stroke selected or shape, come over here and you can just drag down the transparency tool right here in the color picker, Control R, and it's a little bit more faded. And it should still be connected. Yeah, it is. So basically you want to do that for everything on separate layers, of course. So while we have that layer selected, we're going to do all these under all these layers here. So come over here, create a new vector. Come over here to create shape, select oval, drag an oval over his forearm. You can edit how it looks, and it should actually keep the same effects on it. If you press Control R, yeah, it still has that same effect. Why isn't the other one showing? Why isn't this one showing? What did I do? Oh, it's back now. I don't know what that was, but yeah, you're gonna want to do that for all the layers if you want. You know, outline the body, do it on different vector layers. So create a new one. Come over here, we are on frame 0. You can outline the body. You can hide all the other body parts if you want to. It's just so you can see it a little better. Let's hide the hips. Hide those. Like that. Hide the head too. So yeah, hide those so you can see it. Just outline it if you want. And I'm just gonna keep it like that. That's not a good outline, but you can add points if you want at the curves. But I'm just gonna make it pretty simple. Control R, and now his body has a aura around it. Remember to bind them to the layer actually, unless you have them in the folders. Which one is this one for? The forearm. Yeah, so now if we come over here to manipulate tools and move it around, his aura stays with him. And again, you can increase the soft edge in the advanced tab here. Make sure you have one of these vector layers selected, and make sure you have the shape selected actually. Come over here, you can increase and decrease this. Let's actually increase it. Let's make it like 20. So yeah, you can just play around with it if you want. That's a lot more faded. But yeah, you can play around with the soft edge, fade, the opacity, or the width of the stroke itself. Just play around with that until you have it how you want it. And another thing that I want to show you guys, I'm not going to show you how to add it to your character. You would do it the same way you would do these ores, like just outline the body part and bind it. But I'm going to show you over here. Let's create a new vector layer right above our character bone layer. Vector. We're going to come over here to oval. We're just going to create a quick circle holding shift. And this actually kept the effects of the other one. So that could be a problem sometimes. Make sure you check if this has effects or not. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn the stroke opacity up for this. We're actually going to turn the stroke off. And I'm actually going to make another one just so this is better to see. I'm going to create another vector. We're going to make a square actually outline this entire thing. Select that shape. We're going to make this black. And I'm going to drag this all the way under. I'm going to drag this under everything. So yeah, like that. Just so it's easier to see that circle we just made. And if you want this circle to be kind of jagged and move around when you're animating, kind of like how I have in that Amon video, I think I actually will put that in the beginning, just so you can see what I mean. But you're going to want to double click on this layer that we made, the one with the circle. Come over here to vectors, and we're going to check, well, not noisy outlines. We're going to check noisy fills. And if you can see, if we just have that checked and press OK, you can see if we play this animation. Oh, hang on. I think you have to turn on like the animated fills or something. Come back here to vectors. Yeah, animated noise. So you can see it's kind of wobbling around. What that does is basically when we play this animation, it'll be wobbling around. You can't really see it much now. But yeah, if we render it, it'll be wobbling. We will actually render it real quick here. But basically, you can play with these switches, and it's going to look how it does over here on the right side. So you can increase this, decrease it, you know. It's a little bit more crazy right now. Scale it. We're going to just pump all of this up, actually. And we're going to keep that 0. Let's make this really jagged. Let's do that. Let's actually put this down some. Okay, I think my aura was kind of like this. I don't remember exactly what the numbers it was on my Amon animation. But yeah. You can do it like that. I think that should be good. It's not popping up here, but I think if we render it, Control R, yeah, you can see it looks like that. So let's actually render this. Let's do like 3 seconds. So 72. Come over here to File, Export Animation. Start frame. We're going to start on frame 1. We're going to end on frame 72. So it's 3 seconds. And press OK. You don't have to mess with any of these if you don't want. This should render pretty quickly. You can see it's kind of animating right now. That's basically how I did it in the Amon video. And you can, outline your body parts and bind it to it if you want that kind of aura, if you want that kind of aura around your character. The same way we did the little glow. Yeah, you can see it's kind of animating right now. You can increase or decrease those sliders so it's not as crazy if you don't want it to be. But yeah, that's basically how I do auras and how to stretch your body parts in Moho. Again, you can bind this to your character. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys in this video. Hopefully that helped. If you have any questions or if it was kind of hard for you to understand, feel free to ask me in the comments. I do answer questions. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Episode 13. It will probably be the fight scene tutorial. Most likely it will. I might work on that right now actually. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, ask me down below. And peace.